Hello, welcome to ThePrint. I am Amna Begum Ansari. Over the past few years, I have met many Indian students in the UK who are on post-study work visas. It is always nice to meet fellow Indians abroad, but these conversations often leave me with mixed feelings. Alongside the excitement and ambition that brought these students here, I also see anxiety about the future. Of course, not every Indian student want to settle abroad, but there is a significant number who desperately want to stay. They're afraid their dreams won't materialize. I have noticed that students from wealthier backgrounds are less anxious about returning. A comfortable life awaits them in India. Strong networks, family businesses, financial security, and attractive career opportunities. Going back does not feel like failure because they know they have options. Often there are ways for them to return to the UK if they wish for. That's not the situation for many middle class students. For them, studying abroad is rarely just about getting a degree. It is often tied to the hope of building a different future, a key part of which is better career opportunities. Some of them spend a lifetime of family savings. Parents sell lands, empty saving accounts, and take loans in hope that their children will get the opportunities they never did. Sometimes the journey to the UK is simply about having more independence and freedom over their choice as well. In each case, students are chasing much more than a job or visa, I would say. One woman told me that her biggest fear was not unemployment, but returning to a social environment she had outgrown. After experiencing the independence of living in the UK, she struggled to imagine fitting back into the expectation she had grown up with in her small town. Her parents were not asking her to return. In fact, they encouraged her to stay abroad and hope that one day she might even help them move overseas. But now she is anxious about her chances of finding a sponsored job in the current labor market. Another woman decided to restart her academic journey by pursuing a PhD when her post study work visa was coming to an end, so she could remain in the country with her husband a little longer. The fear of returning to India is not always driven by economic concerns, it's about returning to a version of life people no longer belong to. I also remember one student telling me jokingly that she had started going on dates hoping she might eventually meet someone who has a British citizenship or settled status. While it is unfair to reduce such a decision entirely to a visa concerns, people do fall in love, build relationship and create lives together. It would be equally unrealistic to pretend that immigration status play no role. I have even heard stories of people becoming so desperate that they pay rupees 10 to 20 lakhs just for illegal visa sponsorship. They spend years doing whatever work they can find just to keep themselves afloat. I have mixed feeling about these stories. On the one hand, I sympathize with the students. They're not simply choosing between two countries, they're caught between two versions of themselves. On the other hand, I wonder whether there is a growing gap between expectation and reality. Students arrive in the UK believing that studying abroad will naturally lead to permanent settlement, only to discover that the path is far more uncertain. Many are simply not well informed. The decision is made more out of desperation than careful planning. A student visa allow you to learn, gain skill and experience a different country. Yes, studying abroad can help you immigrate eventually, but that cannot be the only motivation for studying abroad. If immigration is the real goal, should people should plan for it from the very beginning. Some students have surprisingly little understanding of the labor market they are entering. Many seems to have been told by agents, relatives, or social media influencer that getting a degree abroad will naturally create opportunities, and the formula is presented as simple: do a master degree get a post study work visa, find a job, and somehow everything else will work itself out. But if settling abroad is the objective, student must ask difficult questions before stepping onto the place. Which industries sponsor visas? Which skills are in demand? Is your chosen degree aligned with those opportunities? How competitive are you compared to the domestic graduates? What happens if sponsorship never materializes? In most cases, student families have little experience with international education, and education agents are rewarded for enrolling more students rather than helping them think about long-term career prospects. University too are much better at marketing opportunities than the risk, explaining the risk. And there is always that one success story everyone knows, the student whose life changed completely after studying abroad. This is not an argument against Indian studying in the UK, nor is it is a plea for everyone to return home. I simply argue that students should arrive with the awareness of what they are signing up for. If immigration is their goal, then there should be a plan built around it, rather than hoping things will somehow work out on their own. India need India needs a more honest conversation around studying abroad, one that discusses not only the opportunities but the risks, costs, and realities students will face in foreign lands.